We'll be starting the live at 8 p.m. We'll be working on Sec 1 Math. Those who are here can take a look at the question and try out the questions. Hi Ash. We are from our Serangoon outlet. Which level are you in now? Okay, those who are here can take a look at the question. You can get the worksheets in the bio. The link is in the bio. Okay, so this is for you. We'll be working on Sec 1 Math Term 1 practice today. Okay, so you can try out the questions. You can get the worksheet from our link. The link is in the bio. Okay. So for the first question, they state very clearly without using a calculator. So you have to show all your workings clearly. So despite for Sec 1 onwards, right, you can use a calculator already. So the calculator is only to help you to check your answer. Okay? So for this kind of question, what they want you to they want to test you on is the order of operation. So which order will comes first. So your working must show clearly which workings needs to comes first, or which order needs to comes first. Okay? Can you work on part A? Anyone can tell me for part A which step will I need to go first? Oh wow, that's an A1. Congrats. Okay. Oh, okay. So we'll be working on G3 levels here. Okay. Oh, but our curriculum is catered to G3. Okay, Sec 4, you can still join this live to recap on what you have learned in Sec 1. I believe O-levels will test on all levels from Sec 1 to Sec 4. Okay, so which level are you in? Oh yeah, Sec 1. Are you in G3? Our curriculum is focusing on G3. Okay, so for part A, can anyone tell me what my first step will be? Remember the order of operations? We can also use Bodmer's rule. So brackets will come first. So for part A, we have 425 minus 197 divided by 19 times 1 plus 1 times 2 minus 4. Yes, very good. So 425 minus 195 will comes first. So when you subtract, you will get 228 divided by 19 times 1 plus 1, then times 2 minus 4. So next step will be divide and multiplication comes together, just that you have to move from left to right. Okay, Tang, you got answer correct, well done. So following which will be divide. So 228 divided by 19, we will get 12. Then 12 times 1 is 12, and then plus 1 times 2 minus 4. So we'll have to deal with the bracket first. So 12 plus 1 is 13. 13 times 2 minus 4. 13 times 2 we get 26. 26 minus 4 we get 22. Don't forget your plus 1 here. Okay? You multiply 12 times 1 is 12, but you have to plus 1. Yeah. No worries. You can always use a calculator to check in exam, so you can check for your careless mistakes. You just key in the whole thing in your calculator and make sure you get the same answer. I'm not an intern. Yep, so don't waste the opportunity of using a calculator in secondary school. Just use your calculator to check your answer. Okay, you can just key in very quickly, make sure your answer is correct, as long as it tallies. So you can get more marks actually in secondary level. Okay, those who are done, can you all move on to part B? Same thing for part B, do remember to follow the order of operation. Okay. You can let me know which step comes first. Yep, correct. So we have to deal with the brackets. So we can see that there's a lot of brackets here. So which kind of bracket do we have to deal with first? And in the bracket, which part comes first? Okay. So in this question, what we can do is we deal with all the powers. Okay, since powers will not be affected. So negative 2 to the power of 3 we have negative 8 times negative 2 square we have 4 minus negative 10 plus 100 minus what is the cube root of negative 8? Yep, or the root or the square root part also can. That's not a square root, that's a cube root. So what is cube root of negative 8? Cube root of negative 8 we will get negative 2, because negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 will give us negative 8. So for this part, you can actually cheat a little bit by using the calculator. Okay, times negative 8. Okay, after you deal with all the powers from here, then you work on your order of operations. So bracket comes first, that's right, but inside a bracket, you have to still follow the order of operation whereby multiplication comes first. Yes, very good. So negative 2 times negative 8 comes first. So negative 2 times negative 8, we have a positive 16. Okay. Because they are associated by this minus sign, so technically, you can deal with them separately. Okay, the part that I've highlighted. Yep, you can do that first, negative 10 plus 100 minus 16. Then after which you do negative 8 times 4. Okay, so it can be done concurrently because they are two totally not affecting each other equation, or rather expression. Okay, so negative 10 plus 100 minus 16, we get 74. So if you deal with negative 10 plus 100 minus 16, then after this step, what you can do is you take negative 8 times 4. So we have negative 32 minus 74, which will give us negative 106. So as you can see, right, although they say without using a calculator, but like for those numbers that you have like negative 32 minus 74, or this, you can key in a calculator. Make sure that you do not have any calculation errors here. Okay, so what the examiner or the marker want to see is which steps comes first. They want to see that you understand the order of operations. Part C. Those who are done, move on to part C. Okay, those are here. Which step comes first? So we have to deal with the bracket first, which is here. So 1 whole 3/4 plus negative 5 over 6. Before we can add or subtract fractions, we have to make sure what is the same. The denominator must be the same, right? So you have to make them to have the same denominator first before adding or subtracting fractions. No, today don't have Kahoot. Okay, so I want to make the denominator the same. I look at the lowest common multiple between the two denominators. I have 4 and 6, so the LCM of 4 and 6 is 12. So I times 3 times 3, I have 1 whole 9 out of 12, times 2 times 2, 10 out of 12. So don't forget my bracket still remains because I have to deal with it first. Okay, actually if you want, you can change this denominator since you know that you have to deal with it later. You can change it to 10 first, times 2 times 2, to make them to have the same denominator. So 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so for this part here, 1 whole 9 over 12 minus 10, minus 10 over 12, I will have 11 over 12. Divide by 11 over 6 times, this is in the bracket, so I can solve this as well. 6 over 10 minus 1 whole 1 over 12, I will get negative 5 over 10. Okay. Next, remember how to do fraction divide by fraction. We keep the first fraction, we change the sign, and then we flip the second fraction. Okay, so we keep the first fraction, change the sign, and then flip the second fraction. Then times negative 5 over 10 technically is negative 1 over 2 when I simplify it. Then I do my necessary cancelling, divide by 11, divide by 11, divide by 6, divide by 6. I'm left with 1 over 2 times negative 1 over 2. I get negative 1 over 4. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Thank you for sharing. Ken? Okay, so for this part here, we are applying the KCF. Keep the first fraction, change the sign, and then flip the second fraction. From this step to this step. For those who are done, you can move on to question 2. Question 2 also without using a calculator. Anyone still need question 1? Okay, I'll move on to question 2. Those who are here work on question 2. You can send in your answer for part A if you're done with part A. Which one is so difficult? I like cheese ball. Which level are you in now? Okay, same thing without using a calculator. Means they want to see your steps involved. So take note, you can cube root negative numbers, but you cannot square root negative numbers. Okay, square root of 144, what do you have? You can key in a calculator. You plug in the figures into the calculator. Square root of 144, we get 12. Plus negative 8, the whole thing squared is 64. Minus cube root of negative 64, I get negative 4. Okay, so I deal with the bracket first. Therefore, I have to take 64 minus negative 4 first. So 12 plus 64 plus 4 is 68. Okay, take note from here, negative is positive. So this part will change to 64 plus 4. Then 12 plus 68, we get 80. Okay. Those are done with part A, move on to part B. Part B, don't forget to apply your KCF, same thing. Omit negative 12. Where do you get your negative 12 from? Where is the minus 12? There's no minus 12, right? We have square root of 144 plus bracket negative 8 squared minus cube root of negative 64. Belinda, who are you? Yep, I'm teacher Angeline. You are? Okay, for this, because it's Sec 1 math, so as of now, square root of 144 is 12 here. Because there's no plus minus sign in front of the square root. Yep. Do you all know me? Who is Bosco Lim? Okay? So for part A, there's only one answer here. Oh, okay. Huh? What do you mean? It's still my voice, right? Is my voice different now? Okay, part B. 45 over 4 times negative 8 over 3 divided by negative 9 over 28. Okay. Yep, you got it right. Oh, I didn't know it's different voice though. Maybe I use a different tone for the video. Yep, part C is correct. Part D, I think part D we can try again. Part D is not negative 4 over 29. Okay, we work on part B now. So we have 45 over 4 times negative 8 over 3 divided by negative 9 over 28. So we can change the divide sign to times, because we keep the first fraction, we change the sign, and then we flip the second fraction. So we'll get 28 over 9 negative. Okay, then we can multiply from left to right. So we do this part first. Divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 3, divide by 3. Okay, then we have numerator times numerator, so 15 times negative 2 we get negative 30. Denominator is 1 times 1, so it's over 1, times negative 28 over 9. So same thing, we take numerator times numerator. So take note here, negative times negative, we will get a positive number. So we can divide by 3, we get 10, divide by 3, we get 3. So we have 280 over 3. Okay, so if you leave it in terms of mixed number, you will get 93 and 1/3. Yep, that's right. Part D is correct now. Good job. Okay, do y'all get the part B now? Part C, 2 whole 1/4 minus 5 whole 3/4 times negative 1 plus 2 divide by 8 over 35. Okay, which one should I deal with it first? So multiplication and division comes first from left to right. So in this case, we need to multiply this first, and take note, always take the sign in front of the number, or in this case will be the fraction. So 2 whole 1/4, negative 5 3 over 4 times negative 1, we get a positive 5 whole 3 over 4 plus 2 divided by 8 over 35. So now we left with the divide to deal with, which is this part here. So same thing, we apply the KCF. 2 whole 1/4 plus 5 whole 3 over 4 plus 2 times, so we keep the first fraction, this fraction is 2 over 1, then we change the sign, and then we flip the second fraction. Okay, so we have 2 whole 1 over 4 plus 5 whole 3 over 4 plus divide by 2 divide by 2, 35 over 4. And then we add everything up. We will get 67 over 4. Or if you were to leave it in terms of mixed numbers, you will get 16, 3 over 4. Okay? So then can move on to part D. I'll shift the part A and B over so that I can do my working for part D. No, it's set 1. Set 1 math. So part D we have negative 3 over 4 times negative 1 whole 2 over 3 square over 2.5 plus negative 1 over 12. Oh, they are just practice questions. May not be from any school paper. Okay, so it's equals to, you can square this fraction here. So when you square negative number, it will become positive. So this number is actually, this fraction is 5 over 3. So we take 5 over 3 squared. Okay, so you have negative 3 over 4 times 5 squared is 25, 3 squared is 9. Over 2.5 minus 1 over 12. Okay, because positive times negative is negative. Okay, then we deal with our numerator and denominator separately. Divide by 3, divide by 3. So numerator, when we multiply together, we have negative 25 over 4 times 3. The denominator is 12 here. Then for the denominator, 2.5 minus 1 over 12. So 2.5 is 2 whole 6 over 12. So 6 over 12 minus 1 over 12, we will have 5 over 12, meaning our denominator will be 2 whole 5 over 12. So negative 25 over 12 divided by 2 whole 5 over 12, we change to improper fraction, we get 29 over 12. And then we leave it in terms of division. So negative 25 over 12 divided by 29 over 12. Okay, similarly, we use our KCF. So we keep the first fraction, change the sign, and flip the second fraction. So negative 25 over 12 times 12 over 29. So divide by 12, divide by 12. So our answer will be negative 25 over 29. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Can? Okay, those are done. We can move on to question 3. Question 3 requires you to insert the brackets in the following calculation for part A to make it a correct statement. Anyone? Where should the bracket be? Okay. Anyone still need question 2? Let me know if you want me to scroll back to question 2. Okay. Okay, try to insert the brackets in the following calculation. Anyone want to give a try? Where should the bracket be at? So the equation on our left hand side, how should we deal with it such that we will get negative 7? Anyone trying? Scroll back to question 2. You need question 2, is it? For 222. You still need this question? Okay, you're welcome. So 3a, where should the brackets be inserted at? We want to have negative 7 here. So they actually give you quite a big hint already. They just want you to insert brackets. So usually brackets will be inserted at areas whereby you don't deal with it first. Okay, because let's say there's no brackets here. You'll be dealing with this 2 first. So you will have 4 minus 30 plus 4. So you will get 4 minus 30, negative 26 plus 4, negative 22, which is incorrect. The figure is too small. Okay, so whatever that has to go first cannot go first. Means I have to insert bracket at areas whereby it doesn't go first. Like let's say minus, so I want to force the minus to comes first. So let's say if I have this, I'll get negative 1 here. Then I check negative 1 times 6, I get negative 6. And then divide still comes first, so this will give me 4. Negative 6 plus 4 gives me negative 2, it's not negative 7. So the bracket is insufficient or incorrect. Okay, so next, let's say I try this. I bracket at my plus sign as well, so that I make my addition and subtraction comes first. I'll have negative 1 times 6 plus 8, I get 14. Okay, so now I'm left with times and divide, so I have to move from left to right. Negative 1 times 14, negative 14, and then divide by 2, I get negative 7. So this bracket is correct. Okay? Part B is filling the boxes with the correct operations. Operations means plus, minus, times, or divide to make the mathematical sentence true. Can you all give a try? What should the boxes be filled with? Okay, part B. So let's say if divide comes first, here will give me 4. I want a 14 here. You can give a try. Actually, there's not a lot of combinations lah. So what you can do is, there's only 4 combinations here and 4 combinations here. So you can try it out. So the correct one will be 4 times 4, we get 16. So let's say we have 16 minus 5. So 16 minus 5 is 11. I want 14, and then just nice the difference here is 3. So I plus 3. Okay, so 16 minus 5 plus 3 will give me 14. So this should be the correct operations. Okay. Question 4. Consider the fraction of 7 over 8 and 8 over 9. Which fraction is smaller? So to compare, you can either compare numerator or compare denominator. See whichever you want to make the same. Okay, so in this case, let's say we make the denominator the same, then we compare the numerator. So 7 over 8 and 8 over 9. The lowest common multiple of 8 and 9 is 72. So I times 9 times 9 and times 8 times 8. Okay, so I have 63 here and I have 64 here. So therefore, they're asking for smaller, so this is smaller. So when they have the same denominator and you compare the numerator, the smaller the numerator, the smaller is the fraction. So therefore 7 over 8 is smaller. Always write the original form, the form that they give you. Okay, consider a third fraction 55 over 56. Without using a calculator, can you tell whether 7 over 8, 8 over 9 or 55 over 6 is the smallest? So can you see that what are the similarity between these three fractions? Can anyone see any pattern between these three fractions? Can you see that their denominator is all 1 bigger than the numerator? Can? Okay. So the denominator is 1 greater than the numerator. And denominator always stands for the total. So what you can do is you can compare how far away are they from the total, or rather from one whole. Because when numerator is the same as denominator, it means one whole. Okay, so what we can do is we take 1 whole minus 7 out of 8, 1 out of 8, 1 whole minus 8 out of 9, we have 1 out of 9, 1 whole minus 55 out of 56, we have 1 over 56. So all of them have the same numerator, we compare the denominator. Okay, so when we're comparing the denominator, the greater the denominator, the smaller the fraction, and vice versa. So the bigger the denominator, the smaller the denominator, the greater the fraction. So what we are doing here is by comparing how far each fraction is away from one whole, the greater the fraction, is away from one whole, it means the smaller is the fraction. Okay, so we look at which fraction is the greatest away from the fraction. 1 over 8 will be the greatest, means 7 over 8 is the smallest fraction. Okay. List down two rational numbers that lie between 7 over 8 and 8 over 9. Okay, so to list two rational number between 7 over 8 and 8 over 9, we need to find the equivalent fractions of the two fractions with greater denominator. They want two fractions in between them. So to list two rational number between 7 over 8 So my 7 over 8, I can convert it into... Okay, so for now we have 7 over 8 is 63 over 72. And 8 over 9, we have it from part A, 64 over 72. We need to find, because you can see that from here we can't have any fraction in between if we are using the denominator of 72. So we need to find equivalent fractions of the two fractions with greater denominator. So let's say I can have my 7 over 8 to be equals to, so I change my denominator to 216. Okay, so it must be in multiples of 72, so that they are still the common factor of 8 and 9. Sorry, common multiple of 8 and 9. Okay, so for 7 over 8 is equals to 189 out of 216, and then for 8 over 9 is equals to 192 over 216. So you can see from here, I can just list my numerator from 190, 191. Okay, that is in between these two fractions. That's why I need my denominator to be greater, so that I am slicing the parts into smaller parts. So therefore, the two rational numbers between 7 over 8 and 8 over 9 are 190 over 216 and 191 over 216. But take note here, your 190 over 216 is not in the simplest form. Always leave your fraction in the simplest form. So we have to divide by 2, divide by 2, because both numerator and denominator are even numbers. So we have 95 over 108. Okay, this is for part C. Anyone, any question? So part D, right, they are asking how many rational numbers lies between 7 over 8 and 8 over 9. So in this case, you can actually tell that you can make your denominator as great as possible, or as big as possible, means it's almost infinitely. Okay, you just keep making your denominator very big, then you can have even more rational numbers between the two fractions. Okay, so therefore part D, the answer is infinite. Let me see, can I write my part D here? Can y'all see? Okay. So there are infinitely many rational numbers between 7 over 8 and 8 over 9. You just need to make the equivalent fractions as big as possible, then you can have more and more rational fractions in between these two fractions. Anyone still need question 4, or has any question with question 4? If not, I'll move on to question 5. Okay. John has 360 1 cm cubes. He uses all the cubes to form a cuboid. The perimeter of the top of the top of the cuboid is 26 cm, and each side of the cuboid has a length greater than 3 cm. Find the dimension of the cuboid. Okay, so they tell you that there is 360 1 cm cube. So this means the volume is 360. And volume of a cuboid will be length times breadth times height. It must give you 360. So in a way, I have to find all the factors of 360. I divide by 2, I get 180. Divide by 2, I get 90. Divide by 2, I get 45. Divide by 3 is 15. Divide by 3 is 5. And divide by 5, I get 1. Meaning 360 equals to 2 to the power of 3 times 3 squared times 5 to the power of 1. Okay? And they tell you that it has to be greater than 3, so means I can't just stop at 2 or 3. 2 and 3 cannot be the length, breadth, or height, while 5 is possible because 5 is greater than 3. Then we have to look at the perimeter of the top of the cuboid. If perimeter is 26, means it's 2 length plus 2 breadth equals to 26. So with this, I can find what is my 1 length plus 1 breadth. I divide by 2, I get 13. Okay, then we try to play around with the numbers for the dimension. So let's say it's 2 cube, we will have 8 times 3 cube is 9 and times 5. So this is one of the possible combination. Okay, 2 squared also possible. So we can also have 2 square as one of the side, and the other one will be 3 squared times 2. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to try to and see which two number can add up to 13, and that will be the length and breadth, or rather the length and breadth of the top of the cuboid. So you can see here, right, 8 and 5 will give us 13. So we try this. 8 plus 5 equals to 13. Okay, so this means that this and this can be my length and my breadth of the cuboid, and then the height will be 9. Okay, so this is the possible answer here. When you try the other way, and if you are unable to have two figures that add up to 13, right, means the combination is wrong. Okay? Then the height must be 9 cm. So we fit the criteria of all the sides to be greater than 3 cm. Okay? Okay, so this is for question 5. Question 6. The table below shows the maximum daily temperatures from Tuesday to Sunday in a city. So by how many degrees did the maximum temperature change between Friday and Saturday? So you want to see the changes between Friday and Saturday. Friday is 0.5, Saturday is negative. So when you're finding a difference, always take the greater number minus the smaller number. So greater is 0.5 degrees Celsius minus negative 3.5 degrees Celsius. So negative times negative is positive, so I plus 3.5, which will give me 4 degrees Celsius. Okay. What is the difference between highest and lowest of these temperatures? Can anyone tell me which one is the highest temperature? Which day has the highest temperature? Anyone? Which day has the highest temperature here? So for highest temperature, since there's positive and negative, definitely it comes from the positive. So Tuesday will give us the highest temperature, and then the lowest temperature must comes from negative, so the greater negative number would be the lowest temperature. So same thing, we take the bigger number, 3 degrees Celsius minus the smallest number, negative 3.5 degrees Celsius. So it's 3 plus 3.5, I get 6.5 degrees Celsius. Between which 2 days did the city get warmer? So get warmer means there is increase in temperature. Okay, so from here to here, the number gets smaller. Same for Wednesday to Thursday, the number also gets smaller. Thursday to Friday, there's also a decrease in temperature. Friday to Saturday, there's also a decrease in temperature, so from positive turns to negative. However, from Saturday to Sunday, there's an increase in temperature because it gets less negative. Okay, so for part C will be Saturday and Sunday. Between these 2 days, the temperature increases. And the temperature increases by negative 2.5 degrees Celsius minus negative 3.5 degrees Celsius, 1 degree Celsius. So there's an increase of 1 degree Celsius between these 2 days. Okay. Manage to follow through? Anyone, any question? Okay, for question 7, Alex is playing with a total of 285 1 cm cubes. He wished to form a cuboid using all of his cubes without any remaining left. Okay, so given the length, width, and height of the cuboid must be greater than 1 cm, find the dimensions of the cuboid that he formed using all the cubes without any remaining left. So same thing. When you're using all the cubes, they're talking about volume here. So volume, we need the length times breadth times height. They're associated by multiplication sign. So we have to find the prime factors of 285. So divide by 3, we get 25. Divide by 5, we get 95 here. Then 95 divide by 5, we get 19. Then divide by 19 is 1. Okay, so 285 equals to 3 times 5 times 19. They are all definitely greater than 1 cm. Okay, so the possible dimensions will be, you can see that because all of them are to the power of 1, so there are no other combinations available. So it has to be 3 cm by 5 cm by 19 cm. Okay, it has to be these 3 digits only. Now that he wishes to form the largest possible cube with his 1 cm cubes, how many 1 cm cube will he have left? Means that it's not used. Yep, this is Sec 1 math. Sec 1 G3 math. Okay, left means unused. So you want largest cube, so we'll be looking at cubic numbers. So what is the greatest cubic number that is available? if he has 285 1 cm cubes. Okay, so we can start with 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube, and so on. So 1 cube is 1, 2 cube is 8, 3 cube is 27, and then we'll go on until 6 cube we have 216. If we go on to 7 cube, it will be greater than 285 cubes already, meaning he can only form a 6 by 6 by 6 cube. Okay, that will be the largest possible cube that he can form. So he'll need 216 cubes to form this. Then he has 285 minus away 216 that he'll be using. He'll be left with 69 1 cm cubes. Okay, so this is the last question of today's worksheet. Anyone, any question? Okay, so for those who are still here, you can look at we have actually this webinar promo. You can try joining our online classes. We have 1 free trial. Okay, so for Sec 1 math will be on Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And those who are Sec 2 here, you can also join our free trial, 1 free trial for online class. It will be on Friday 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Okay, you all can join our live tomorrow as well. Tomorrow will be on P6 math 7 p.m. Okay, that's all for today's live. I'll see you next Thursday. Next Thursday will be 7 to 8 p.m. live for Sec 2 math. Okay, so those are Sec 2 math. You can tune in next week. Bye bye.